What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Rants with Abby and friends. Of course, I'm Abby. We got Sean in the building. Guy is a little under the weather, so he will be out tonight, but hopefully will return next week. It's funny, Sean, I was actually interested in hearing his opinion on, because Zach Wilson is now signed like a 1-year deal with the Saints, and I just wanted to see what he thought about that. Well, since we're on the topic, what do you think?
I think it's a good I'm not as like low on Zach Wilson as everyone else is. I think it's a fine backup quarterback signing. I think Tyler Shuck is significantly better than anybody thought he would be. Mm-hmm. And I think it's okay to have a backup that's serviceable. I mean, Zach Wilson's not going to come out there and win you 10 games, but, and I'm not saying he's Mac Jones either, where he can keep your team afloat while your star quarterback is hurt, but he's serviceable enough. And, we're not expecting the Saints to be a 20-win team, undefeated going to the Super Bowl. You just need someone to get by if that injury happens. And I think not enough teams in the NFL have a backup that they're like comfortable rolling out. We saw it with a lot of teams last. I mean, look at the damn Jets, for example. You guys were rolling out Helen Keller and friends yesterday.
God, I know, literally. And then now we got Bailey Zappi, and I'm like, the quarterback pickings are just worse than I could have ever imagined.
Ironically enough, was Mac Jones's backup at New England, right? So,
yep. Of course, it always happens like that. We always get the leftovers. I mean, I don't think they're gonna need him, to be honest. But again, he's there for just like the insurance. Spencer Rattler is still with the Saints, isn't he?
Yeah, Spencer Rattler is, but man, it's such a shame because I grew up watching Spencer Rattler. I don't know if you remember, there was that show called like the Elite Eight or whatever it was with all like
I watched that show, and he's from here. He's from the area.
Yeah.
He's from just outside of Phoenix.
And I watched that, and Rattler was so good on there. And I don't really know what happened with him. His ego kind of got inflated, and he went to Oklahoma and he didn't do super well, and then he goes to South Carolina. His whole trajectory, I mean, he was an elite. He was like Trevor Lawrence prospects coming out of high school. He very, very good, and he never panned out. He was serviceable last year. I mean, I don't think he was horrible. I just don't think he is. I think he's a career backup kind of player, not a career starter kind of player. And that's just who he's going to be. And that's okay. Backups get paid a lot of money in the NFL. As long as you can come in and carry a little bit of your weight and get some wins, that's valuable in the NFL. So,
right. And look at, what's that backup's name from Chicago that gets paid? Didn't he get like a $10 million deal? I forget his name.
I know who you're talking about. Let me go look because it's going to bother me.
It's already bothering me.
Bajan, whatever his name is.
Uh-huh.
Tyson. Yeah. And the thing is I've never heard of him. And he got paid
right, and he's somehow getting paid.
Life-changing money. And you know what? Good for him. Again, as long as you're useful and serviceable, especially at the quarterback position in the NFL, you're gonna get generational money. If you told me, hey, I'll give you a 2-year, $3 million deal to be a backup in the NFL, it's the best job in the world.
Oh, yeah, I would too. I would take that in a heartbeat.
So, like I said, you just need to have some sort of no pun intended, but backup plan when it comes to quarterback. Look at Miami, for example, right? When, Tua went down a couple years ago and they were rolling out nobody, and then, speaking of Miami now, Malik Willis, right, comes in, he goes over there to Green Bay. He plays the backup role. He has a couple of really good games where he looks useful. And let's not get it twisted. Malik Willis coming out of college when he played at Liberty, I mean, the guy had an absolute nuke for an arm. Like he is talented. He just never put it together. He got drafted by Tennessee. You can't name me a quarterback besides Ryan Tannehill that's had any level of success in Tennessee, and that was with Vrabel, right? So,
right.
But Malik Willis stuck around, and now he got a $60 million contract, by
Yeah,
just
he
being
got
a
paid.
backup and being good and sitting behind and learning. And that's very important. I can't stress the importance of that enough. Sam Darnold, another one, career backup, after he goes to the Jets and looks horrible, a damn Super Bowl winner now. And he looked all the part of being it, so.
Well, I want to ask you, we have some, of course, news with your team this week. But before we get into that really quickly, we have a giveaway, a ticket giveaway, and you can win tickets to the Pistons Magic game on April 6th. So what you have to do, a couple of steps here. You got to follow the Pop Sports Network on Twitter. You got to tag 2 friends. You got to like and retweet. You're doing this. This sounds like it's way too many steps, but honestly, it takes 10 seconds. Let's be honest.
It's a normal
and then
process.
Yes. And then you got to subscribe to Pop Sports on YouTube and then do all of that. You're automatically entered. And the winner is actually going to be announced on our show next Wednesday.
The tickets are good too. Good tickets.
Yeah, there's section like 116 or something, like 119. So yeah, they are good tickets. Yeah. I would go to that game if I was there, but
I might enter my damn self.
I know, literally. I'm gonna go tag my team now.
Shit, me, it's about a 45-minute drive. I might head my ass up there and do it myself. I might wait at the gate. Who won? I'm taking their tickets from them.
Seriously, you're gonna rob him right at the gate.
I know. right by the Kia Center. Don't play with your boy.
So make sure you do all of that. I'll go over the steps again right at the end of the episode. But let's go back into some NFL news. Seahawks were in some news today. Let's start with the first news. JSN signing a huge contract extension. So, Sean, that being your team, what do you think? I think we all knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And obviously well-deserved. Yeah.
Love it. There was saw some stupid ass arguments. JSN only had one good year. JSN had over 100 catches and 1,000 yards the year before. In the first year, we mismanaged him. He was behind Lockett and DK Metcalf. We all knew what he would be as a wide receiver 1. I mean, I talked about it all offseason. People I know and people they know knew JSN was elite. JSN was called the best receiver at Ohio State by the likes of Garrett Wilson and these guys. I mean, Kid's a true talent. He's not a fluke. He doesn't play only the slot. His complaints are he can't get past receivers down the field. I mean, I don't see any of that. I love it. Look back on the CeeDee Lamb and Jefferson contracts. We thought those were crazy at the time, and they're steals now. JSN's contract's going to be the same thing in a few years with the salary cap going up. I love it. I love getting it done before Puka. And God knows what his contract's going to look like. Apparently he hates Jews. So we're going to.
Oh, I know. I was going to get into that here in a second. Definitely some crazy. I was reading all up on that today. And
I saw some memes on that had me in literal tears laughing. It's like, what does your wide receiver 1 do? And it was like, we pay him $50 million a year and he hates Jews. I'm like, dude, oh my God. But seriously, I don't think that's true that he said that. He's got out there that, he's trying to go for a defamation lawsuit, but he's really had been, and I think Puka's talented. I don't hate him because he's at the Rams. I've been I'm vocal. I don't hate the Rams. Like I respect their good players and I just respect good players in general. He's been on the side of controversy a little too much for my liking, Antonio Brown, like with how much he's in with the controversy, but I'm glad we got our deal with JSN done before he got his deal done, because that means he's going to tax him a little bit more. I want to be the first one to get it done in those market resetting deals. Love it. We're going to give Spoon, he's going to get a deal soon too. I love that we locked them up 4 years and we exercised their 5th-year option. So we have 5 more years of control, which I love. And, again, the contract in 3 years is going to look like a cheap contract because of how the market cap, it keeps going up and up and up.
Every year it goes up. It's like some outrageous contract. So this is going to be like chump change in like a few years.
And even if it's not, he's still put up almost 18. He could have easily broken 2,000. We sat him in the third quarter for like 6 games. He's elite. He's fantastic. And not only is he a great football player, he is a great person, a great locker room presence. You don't hear anything about JSN. Same thing with Kenneth Walker, right? Like I would have loved to have had him back. You don't hear anything bad about these guys. Just K9 was a little too much with the running back market. that's who you want as a franchise cornerstone, though. Guys like that are just positive and, just a great person to be around. That it's hard to find superstars like that with a good head on their shoulders.
Right. And to me, JSN, I see him in the same light as I do like Garrett Wilson. Good person. There's no controversy, no drama. I actually liked listening to JSN talk about his last name and the kind of story behind that. I thought it was a beautiful story there. But we all knew they were clearing up space too to make room for this deal to get done.
Yeah.
But again, very, very well deserved again. In case
we have a lot of money too.
Yeah.
People aren't aware, like we still have a lot of money, and even with signing JSN and Spoon to these deals, we still have a good amount of money. That's the one thing Seattle's great at is managing contracts. Obviously, with the Russ contract, we got off of that trade. We had the huge trade for that. Like we do pretty good. We got Byron Murphy coming up. He's going to need an extension next year. We're planning ahead for that. That's why we have to take some losses on the chin. You got to lose, your star corner. You got to lose Boy Mafe. You got to lose all these guys. But the thing is we didn't overpay to keep anyone like a lot of teams do, right? Like the Bengals are going to be in cap hell with T. Higgins,
oh my God,
Chase, Burrow, taking up 80% of their cap between three players. So, I love it.
I still think to the point of sometimes because when the Jets could have drafted JSN at one point, and I was kind of leaning that way. And I think that was the same draft as Will McDonald. And we were all thrown for a loop with that. So I always just think what could have been with JSN. It wouldn't have worked out anyway, simply because our quarterback situation. So he found a right spot and a right fit for him.
Yeah, and I think there's players that get drafted and they go to the right spot, right? Like JSN going to Seattle was a good spot. He got to learn behind Tyler Lockett and play with DK Metcalf. Eman Ward falling to us, right? That's just another example. There was questions about his character and stuff. Falling to an organization like ours is probably a significantly better trajectory and outcome for guys like this rather than going to, the Browns or the Raiders or whoever it may be, because it doesn't set yourself up for success. And there's a lot of pressure on you to be good instead of being surrounded by good players and learning from them. And I think that's so important. And, it's always like, oh, well, we could have had this person or this could have went this way. Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Things work out the way they do sometimes just because of the situation that people are put in, right?
Right. Macho, well-deserved for JSN. Oh, yes, me and Sean are both on agreement. If Sean loves it, it's a really good move.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I said, I hope we don't sign Boy Mafe to some crazy contract, which the Bengals, $20 million a year is nuts to me. K9 got $15 million a year. Love the guy, but I feel like $15 million is too much. That's so sometimes you got to take one on the chin, but JSN's contract, again, it's a true wide receiver one. It's not it's not Alec Pierce or a guy like that where, he may be good, but he's not a true one. But, yeah.
Well, it's funny because I wrote down what I wanted to talk about today, and we'll get into Puka again here in a second. But obviously, it came out today that the Seahawks and the Rams will be opening up the NFL season, I believe, in Australia.
Australia on a Wednesday, which
I saw that too. Which it's because of time difference, obviously.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just odd, I think we have Wednesday and Thursday games this year to open up.
That'll be weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, we've all talked about it before. I'm getting so sick of all these games on different schedules, on different channels. I mean, I'm watching, it's not much of a game, but the Yankees Giants on freaking Netflix for MLB opening day. Macho says great matchup, terrible schedule. Indeed.
Yeah, and I don't think they announced who we were gonna play in that game, which is a little weird. But I know it's because LA and the Niners play in the next day in Australia, which I don't, I will say, I don't know how you feel about it, but I really liked that a lot of the divisional games got bumped back towards the back of the schedule this year. I thought it led for a lot of good storylines, and a lot of the divisions played out very interestingly this year. So I don't like when top teams play week one or week, we played the Niners week one last year and lost 13-20 or whatever it was. I think it was 13-20. but I like those divisional games to have a little more value towards like the middle and end of the year when teams are ramped up. I don't know. Maybe it's a little biased to say it just because of like how our schedule went last year, but I just think it makes for better storylines as well.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I do see your point there. The only thing I don't like in terms of like scheduling those divisional games is like, and again, I guess it proves your point a little bit. Like, because again, well, okay, let's give you an example. The Jets, for example, they played like Miami, I think 2 years ago within the stretch of like a month. Wasn't like a necessarily big fan of that. Again, it was at the end of the season, so I guess it was placed properly. And then looking back at 2025, I believe the first divisional opponent like the Jets faced was, I believe it was the Bills, then Miami, or either way, it was Miami week 4. And then we saw a long break before we saw any of those teams. And then it was like the Patriots, like boom, boom, it seemed like. And I wasn't that big of a fan necessarily. And I also didn't like that the Miami game was on Thursday Night Football either. I don't know why the Jets got any primetime games. 2 was too many. But
yeah, I'm also very big on I hate the way that Thursday night games are treated. Like, I feel like if you have a Thursday night game, you should either have a bye week the week before or not have like a Sunday night game, which seems to happen a lot. And I feel like they really need to do a better job with the scheduling of those games. And I know like statistically it doesn't increase injury. Like there's studies on it and stuff. It's just like for us last year, we played 3 games in like 11 days or something, just the way the schedule worked out. I'm not a fan of that at all. Hate it.
That was like the Jets. I don't think it was last year, but the year before that, they played like 3 games in a stretch of 11 days. I didn't like that either.
There's too many teams for that ever to occur. That should never be a thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think, in your opinion, like the Thursday night games are treated?
I'm going to be honest with you. They're treated like a poor man's
Thank you. Okay.
early game. I mean,
yeah,
I like them because I work a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So it's cool to like have a Thursday game, but I don't know if you can ever name me. The Rams Seahawks game last year was a Thursday game, and it was a fantastic Thursday game. Granted, those were the 2 best teams in the NFL last year. Everyone can agree on that at this point. So that's a prime time, and people tuned in for that. But like, we got like Cleveland playing Las Vegas on a Thursday, and it's like no one gives a fuck about that game. Like, I think if you're gonna play a Thursday game, flex, like make that good. And you know what? Again, it's hard because they make the schedule so far ahead of time, so it's a little biased, and you can't. I was gonna say flex teams into it, but you can't really flex. That would just go against everything I just said about how the scheduling is done. But Thursday night games aren't treated like anything special. They're actually probably like the redheaded stepchild of games, honestly.
No, and I think so too. I think honestly, sometimes the shitty teams go on the Thursday night. That's why you saw like Jets Miami. No one was thrilled to see that game whatsoever. It was just kind of one of those like throw on games that people have on in the background that they're not actually watching.
I've always said too, and I've said this for a couple years now, Thursday games should actually, to me, be Friday games. Imagine if NFL had Friday games instead. I feel like the viewership pool would be significantly different, and I'm sure there's a nuance in a contract for why that can occur, and there's maybe something I don't realize why that can occur, but I've never understood why have a Thursday game when Friday is wide open.
Right. I would like that too. Everyone's getting off of a lot of people work just a regular Monday through Friday. Yeah. Good way to get off and have a football game, unwind, have a beer. And
I get trashed on a Friday. Fuck it.
Yeah, literally. I'm not doing that on a Thursday. Sometimes I got meetings on Fridays. I got shit to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just feel like a Friday. I've always thought it was weird that instead of Thursday, Sunday, Monday, why NFL never did Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I feel like they would have so much more viewership. Again, I'm not smart enough to be having this actual conversation because I'm sure there is business nuances and statistical nuances that I'm not aware of. But to me, from my peon point of view, I feel like your viewership would be significantly more if you catered to a significant portion of America. I think that would also help businesses, in my opinion. People would be more likely to go out and drink at a bar on a weekend rather than a Monday night or a Thursday night. But
no, literally, Monday is like the worst. I ain't doing anything like that day.
Not.
I'm not drinking. I'm not going out to watch any of the games.
No.
It's just to me, that's like one of the worst days of the week. I don't even like going. I work remote on Mondays and Fridays, but Mondays, it helps that I'm already here at home, but like I hate going anywhere else now. I'm telling you, I hate going to the office on Mondays. Like I have to do it occasionally, but it is like my worst nightmare. And everyone's so pissed off because it's like the start of the week. And then it's like, oh, yay, let me get excited about this Monday night football game. And I'm going to, people on the East Coast have to worry about it more, but I'm going to be up till like midnight. This game goes into overtime.
For us,
shitty way to start your week.
You're guaranteed a midnight at least.
Literally.
It's always the funniest thing. People are like, Monday sucks. We need to get rid of Mondays. And I'm like, yeah, and then Tuesday sucks, and we need to get rid of Tuesdays next. Like, doesn't matter what day you start your week on. I always think that's a funny.
Right. Macho says, too much competition for primetime shows. No one is watching anything on Mondays or Thursdays. The NFL makes those days an event now. Yeah, we can all definitely agree.
And I get that. I just feel like, again, the viewership numbers in the revenue generated would be higher if you ran it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I get no one's watching anything Mondays or Thursdays, but I guarantee you, if you look at the viewership on Thursdays and Mondays, it's significantly less, minus maybe, again, like that Seattle LA game that happened. That's different, but that's not, people aren't really tuning into those kind of games, I don't feel like, as much as they would if you did run them on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right. And the only thing is like the Thursday night game, like week 1, that's a lot different because people have just missed football in general. So I think they'll watch, but like, you're not going to get that same viewership every single Thursday. And then I don't know if it's going to get any better either because they're having all these games in different parts of the country. And I know other countries have more of like a 4-day work schedule, or they get off to like a later start in the day. They're doing dinner at different times, all of those. So that's something that's also they have to probably consider. Radio Shack, I'm already praying for Abby this weekend. Oh, we're going to get into that. Don't worry. We're going to pull up our bracket here, Shack. I'm already praying for myself. I have not been able to really like sleep. I'm very anxious for tomorrow. We'll get into that here in a bit. But I want to go back to Puka really quickly. I didn't read the part that he was going to sue for defamation. Is that correct?
His lawyer put out a giant statement, and
this is just not the first time he's done like a Jew type of joke. Because he had that little shake, I don't know, whatever hand gesture that he was doing. And then let's not forget the baby mama drama that was happening early on in the year.
Yeah, and then he had that, that whole stream where he was on with Aiden Ross, and that's just not a recipe for success. I mean, those guys are content farmers and clickbaiters and stuff. So, I don't know. I just think he's too prominent of a figure. In somewhere in his camp, he needs to surround himself with better people, and they need to tell him to shut the fuck up and stop. Like, just shut up. Just stop going out and putting yourself in situations to where this even could occur. Clearly, the people that he's hanging out with and the people that he's around are not working out for him. He came out and said he doesn't believe, Scatterboo did the same thing, but Scatterboo's not pissing people off the way he does. CTE isn't a thing, and, it's all in your head. Like, yeah, it is in your head because literally it's a head thing. It's just he's a very talented, very special player, and you don't want to see that get ruined for any reason, a la Antonio Brown. You don't want to see him go down that path. He's way too talented and way too important to the NFL for that to be a thing.
And Macho says all this happening during a contract year too.
It's not going to change how much he gets paid. Let's be realistic. He's still going to get probably $48 million a year. But it is happening in a contract year. And if he was a less polarizing player or a less valuable player, that would probably significantly hinder his deal or maybe even stop a deal from getting done. Luckily for him, he is arguably 1A, 1B best receiver in the NFL at this point. And he'll be okay, but it's not a good look. It really is.
Yeah, that LA vibe and scene is rubbing a little too much off on him. And then I don't know if you saw after I think it was not the ESPYs, the NFL honors. He was there's a video of him and he's pretty trashed on the side of the street as well.
Well, and then there's the F1 race he's at too, where he's fucked up. I'm like, dude. Yeah. What's up, Brandon? Brother Bishop also welcome. He says kid's a star and it's bonkers that his team is letting him be so fast and loose. And this has been going on for almost a year now. And the way McVay is and the way that Rams organization is ran, I'm surprised they haven't smacked the shit out of him with a steel chair and told him to shut the fuck up. Like, I'm shocked that he's still able to keep doing what he's doing. And granted, he's a grown man. You can't babysit him. You can't have someone with him 24/7. But if I'm the Rams, I'm pulling him in the office and I'm saying, hey, man, you need to chill the fuck out. Like, you're doing way too much at this point. There has been have you seen any good press release on Puka in the last 6 months? I haven't.
No.
It's always something controversial and always something negative. They really just need to reel him in, as Bishop is basically saying here. They need to reel him in and duct tape him. I mean, it's getting out of hand.
It's not so hard. It's not hard to just stay in the house and do nothing. Like, he's got training to do and all of that. Keep his ass occupied with that for a little while.
Well, did you see, not to cut you off, did you see the Jeremiah Love interview today?
No.
Oh, so, and I'm almost positive he was referencing himself to Puka Nacua. He goes, if you draft me, man, I just love football. I don't want to do anything except go to practice, go home, play video games, and watch anime. I keep my mouth shut and I don't say anything. I'm a great player. And I'm just going to be a football guy. And I'm like, he's definitely talking about
literally.
It's such
I'm going to have to watch that.
I'm going to tell you what, too. I'm falling in love with Jeremiah Love. You know, I've already talked highly about him, and I said I think
you love him.
I think he's awesome. But what he's done, one, from his numbers point of view, from his combine, and just the stuff I've seen on him, man, I'm excited to follow his career in the NFL. And a lot of the mocks have him fallen to, like, Washington. I would actually love to see Jaden and him on the same team. I think that would be crazy. I wouldn't mind seeing him at Tennessee, but I really, if he's going to go to a team, I obviously wanted it to be the Chiefs, because I thought, I mean, him and Mahomes, that would be a crazy dynamic duo, but I would love to see him in Washington. If they got Jeremiah Love, I mean, that would be insane.
Speaking of Mahomes is back to throwing around the football a little, 100 days post-surgery.
He's got that Dylan Raiola leg band on. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
Week 1.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that, and I'm glad you brought it up. Is it not? And I think I talked about this with the Jason Tatum injury a little bit a while back, but is it not crazy how, like, the ACL injury isn't, like, scary anymore? Like,
no,
these guys
I know.
are coming back better. It's like the Achilles injuries are like, oh, fuck. Did you see the Moses Moody injury?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Like, that kind of injury is like an injury you don't want. That's like the worst case scenario. But ACLs now are just like breaking your leg almost. Like, yeah, you'll be out for 7 months, and he's going to be back week 1, certainly. And he's probably
They're like, we'll have surgery tonight and you'll be in rehab a week from now. And you'll be walking in a day.
Yeah, and it gets more fucked up if, like, you tear your MCL and your PCL and you have all that brutal damage in your knee, like if it's a serious injury. But, like, if it's just a common ACL, common ACL tears used to be like, you're out for 18 months. We all knew, like, you're gone until the following, not the next season, the one after that. Now it's like, yeah, I tore my ACL week 16. I'm going to be ready for week 1. And he didn't look, I mean, I know it's just a couple dropbacks, but he was putting pressure on his back leg. Like I said, he had that Dylan Raiola, like, leg band on. It's just nuts to me that how far medical, like, science has come to where, like, the ACL, it's just like, just an ACL tear now. What? Yeah,
and it's so like they're so done, like, with minimal, like, kind of scarring now and everything. My mom tore her ACL. She has a huge scar going like down her whole knee like that, and now it's like I just saw my cousin just had one. And it's just a little thing, and that's it. It's almost like they do this so frequently now that it's just an easy little quick snip, and they're done with it.
And it's good for the NFL that Mahomes will be back week 1. Like, that is him being out for like till like week 6 would be worse. Like it's good. One, you never want to see someone get serious injury. Like I know a lot of people don't like Patrick Mahomes. I love the hell out of him. I respect the hell out of him. What he's done as a quarterback in the NFL is we can't speak highly enough about him. But it'll be good to have him back week 1 if he's fully healthy.
Yeah, I've never hated Mahomes. His wife and brother are a different
His family's
story.
a bunch of morons, and don't get me wrong, that's a reason not to like someone like. But you can't put that on him. Like he's been a great guy, and he's done a lot for his communities, and he doesn't come out there and again, he's not like a Puka Nacua where he's making a fool out of himself. He doesn't come out and say off the wall shit. He loves the sport and he loves to play football, and that's what he does. And when he got drafted out of Texas Tech, that air raid offense that Texas Tech ran for years, I'm like, I wasn't understanding why he wasn't a top 5 pick. And I understood like why people were not as high as him because these Texas Tech quarterbacks weren't having success. But I thought it was cool to see someone like him come out and play in like a Cliff Kingsbury kind of offense where he's just throwing the ball 70 yards down the field to Tyreek Hill. It's like that was fun to watch.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of times I feel like it's not necessarily Mahomes. It's just we're tired of the Chiefs winning. And unfortunately, Mahomes is tied to that. But it's never been an issue with him. I follow him on Instagram, and that says a lot. I don't follow like every single player, but I follow players that I like, and he happens to be one of them. Yeah. Speaking of the Chiefs, Macho says he wants to see Justin Fields take snaps week 1, which I think would be hilarious.
Off the right end of the bench the whole season. You can keep his ass over there unless he's playing wide receiver on the field.
I was arguing with this girl back and forth because she was trying to sell me on the fact that the Chiefs won that trade. And I'm like, girl, like it was equal Justin for Fields both. Trade? Yes.
The fact that they had to give up a pick to get him is crazy to me.
I'm just like, oh, I feel like it worked out equally for both sides. We got rid of somebody who didn't want to be here. We got our pick back, which we lost from Geno Smith, that trade and whatnot. And it all just figured out. You needed somebody to play with you who's not very good. But she was literally trying to sell me on the fact that I appreciate when women actually talk sports like that with me. So I appreciate the conversation. But I'm like, girl, you're not budging my head that you won this trade. There's nothing to win. Like Justin Fields is a prize. Like that's not something to really like brag about. Macho says, I've seen Chiefs fans saying that in the comment sections. Yeah, I'm like, and then she was just associating everything to the fact that like the Jets are just a loser franchise. And that doesn't necessarily mean though you won the trade simply based on the fact that the Jets haven't been to the playoffs in 15 years. And then people act like they throw these things at me like the Jets are just sorry. They had 3 wins last year. Yeah, girl, I would know considering I make Jets content and I've made the Jets literally my whole life.
Is she a Chiefs fan?
Yeah.
How long has she been a Chiefs fan? Did you fact check her?
Miss Kelsey.
She's probably been a Chiefs fan for like 4 years. That's why. So she thinks like everything's great for them.
I'm just like, girl, you're not winning this with me. I eventually stopped replying. But speaking of the Chiefs, Travis Kelsey, I believe, got a deal this week.
3-year deal. That's very odd to me considering I truly thought he was going to retire.
I thought he was going to.
It was like a $60 million deal, right? Too like it was $67 million or something. Yeah, I thought that.
I thought I saved it here, and I was trying to pull it up for a second. I just kind of the way that I glazed over that information. I was just here it is. 3-year deal, $54.7 million. Yes, I kind of just glazed over that information. To be honest, I was just kind of like, I thought he was going to retire.
That, my jaw dropped. I'm like, that's a fat ass deal. Like that's not a small contract.
Yeah. I also got to mention going back to the Seahawks for a second. Obviously, Seahawks signed Bobo to a 2-year, $5.5 million deal. I like him.
I love him. Fuck Jacksonville for hiking his price up a little bit. They did that shit on purpose.
And then we got the Falcons. Great. Yeah, and then the Falcons signing Brian Robinson Jr. to a 1-year, $2.5. Oh, I know. That was
the trade memes. That's so funny.
And then good old Joe Flacco agreed to a 1-year, $6 million deal worth up to $9 million with the Bengals. Joe Flacco, you cannot hate Joe Flacco whatsoever. I love him so much. When he was with the Jets, I actually wanted to retain him. Apparently, the rumor going around was someone on the Jets staff did not like him. and that's why they wanted to get rid of him. But I love to see him still thriving out there. Old head.
He can still sling it too. He can.
Yeah,
still
no,
sling
he can. I think he's very serviceable. Should you need him, and should you need him, and we got to look at what's been going on with Joe Burrow. Obviously, the injuries are just. He's had some weird, to me, they feel like weird injuries. But I think in the Bengals case, they need all the insurance that they can get there. Let's see. Shaq said the San Francisco Giants have a boatload of Justin Fields on their teams, given how bad their team has been throwing tonight. Yes. So the start of the MLB season is here. Starts off with a Giants-Yankees matchup, and I can't see the score, but last time I looked at it, I think it was
7-0, and fuck Aaron Judge. Just want to say that 4 strikeouts tonight. You gotta be shitting me. Draft him in a points league. -4 tonight. Fucking jackass. He's hitting like 14 home runs in the preseason. He wants to come out tonight and strike out 4 times.
He's gonna go on a slump, and that's gonna follow him from the World Baseball Classic.
Unbelievable. Yes, it's 7-0. The Yankees are dog walking them. I mean,
I didn't expect this game to be good anyways, to be honest. I will say, though, Oracle Park is probably one of my favorite places. We loved, my family and I loved it so much. We were only supposed to go to 1 Giants game. We loved it so much. We were like, we're going to 2. And and the second game is when I got to see a Bryce Harper home run, and obviously it went in the water, and it's beautiful. Food is good. The vibes are good. Shaq says Yankees have a touchdown and an extra point on the Giants. Johnny boy, real baseball starts tomorrow. Let's go. We don't care about the Mets. Guy's not here, Johnny boy.
Yeah, guy's not here.
Sean, getting into MLB, I wanted to look at the over-under for your team and see if you thought that it was going to hit. Let me pull it up here. Unless you can pull it up quicker than me.
Let me see. I actually don't know what our over-under is.
I know, and I was hoping to have Guy here to go over the Mets, but we can get his opinion next week.
We're at 90 wins. I think we're over that by 10 games at least, personally. I think we have the best pitching rotation in the MLB. Very, very good bats. We got this kid, and I'll tell you right now because I'm going to look it up. I already added him to my watch list in baseball. I think the Mariners are like the 3rd or 4th best team in the MLB. I do think that it's like the Yankees and the Dodgers kind of on a, collision course to play again. But let me see. Hold on. I'll tell you right now.
I love the Yankees Mets comments going back and forth right now. We got Johnny Boy and Macho.
Yeah,
Macho, I didn't know you were a Yankees fan. That's funny. Johnny Boy, that's why the Yanks had to add Soto to their hype video.
But yeah, I think the Mariners are going to be good again. We didn't get worse. I mean, we lost Suarez. It's okay. Like I said, I think we're if we can have a fully healthy pitching rotation this year, I think we have the best and deepest pitching rotation in the MLB. It's just a matter of health, like it is with every other team, right? Like, you could play the shoulda, coulda, woulda, but you just hope for a healthy season, and I think that we can make it all the way. Yeah. I just don't think there's anybody that's going to beat the Dodgers, frankly, unless they suffer some catastrophic injury to Ohtani or Tucker or Betts, and I think it'd have to be multiple players get injured on that team for them not to win it again.
Yeah. Dren, can you pull up Shaq's comment about the previous comment about the D-backs? There we go. I can remind people all the time, the only team I like from New York is the Jets. Otherwise, I am an Arizona girl, Diamondbacks. And yeah, I don't like that that's how we're opening up at Dodger Stadium tomorrow. But the over-under for the Diamondbacks is, I believe, 79.5. I do think we'll go over simply because we have gone over, I believe, 80 wins for the last couple of seasons. Obviously the Diamondbacks are talented. Clearly they got talented players, Perdomo, Marte, Corbin Carroll. I think Zach Gallen is going to have a better pitching year this year as well. I think last year was just a weird slump. Unfortunately, they're just in a tough division with the Dodgers being as stacked as they are.
And I love Lawler too. Like he's a
me
great
too. And I
prospect.
think he's going to have a very good. I'm hoping he's going to have some sort of like more of a breakout year.
Yeah, they moved him to center field. I love him as a prospect. I've had him in fantasy the last couple of years. I've just held on to him, and it hasn't worked out. The Diamondbacks are another team where it's just going to be, can that bullpen get healthy and stay healthy? They have a lot of injuries right now. And, again, like I said, you could say that about a lot of teams in the MLB. Can they get healthy? Can they stay healthy? There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but there's also a lot of good teams in the MLB this year. I think this year's going to be a pretty exciting year outside of the fact that I think the Dodgers are far and away the best team. And I think they're plus 200 to win the World Series. And I think second is the Yankees at like plus 1,000. That shows you how big of the gap is.
Yeah.
I think it's like, if I remember correctly, because I looked at it, let me give credit to TJ. They looked at it on their show and I was listening. I think it was the Dodgers. It was the Yankees. It was the Mariners, the Mets, and the Red Sox, I think, were like the top 5 teams.
Yeah. I think Shaq put that, on BetMGM. Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Mariners, and Red Sox as their top 5 World Series favorites.
Yeah, just look at the chat. Clearly, I wouldn't have even had to think off the top of my head.
Macho, I will scream at the top of my lungs. I'm waiting to post it tomorrow, but it's always fuck LA every single day, okay? And Macho is a Lakers fan, so that's kind of where I'll leave it there. But yes, F the Dodgers.
You know what the sad thing is? And I talked about this before. I don't hate the Dodgers. I just hate what they've done. Like, again, they have some of the most likable players on their team in the MLB. Mm-hmm. They circumvented the cap and did a lot of shit. And if they do win this year, we will absolutely have an MLB lockout next year because of them. And that's going to suck. But it's just such a shame because I think I've talked about on the show before. If you took all of the LA team, all the LA players, and put them on like the Pittsburgh Pirates or someone, everybody would love the Pittsburgh Pirates and everybody would be a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. But because they're Dodgers players, everyone hates them. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Ohtani, these are all likable guys. They play for LA.
No, I know. And I'm not going to lie. I follow some Dodgers players. I love Ohtani. I love Teoscar Hernandez as well. I've always loved Mookie.
Like all these guys are such likable players.
They're funny. They just have so much aura too. And it just fits their LA swag, I feel like. And I love Dodger Stadium too. I haven't been in a very long time. I actually want to try and make a game this year. My cousin has season tickets. She sits very close, I might add.
Nice.
Her husband is also a bartender in one of the nice suite areas in there. So he's in cahoots with the players all the time. He gifted his father-in-law, which is my uncle, a signed Ohtani. He was on a magazine cover and it's signed by Ohtani.
Really cool.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And she loves the Dodgers. I would love to go with my cousin there. Good food too. And again, the environment at Dodger Stadium is just so unique and the way it sits and everything. It's just one of those stadiums. It's like Fenway, Yankee Stadium, you name it.
A lot of questions in the chat we got to talk about.
For real. Okay.
Got some active chat tonight. We love that.
Okay, go back to Johnny Boy's comment, the first one.
Well, let's talk about the Seattle thing. Let's talk about NBA after we finish talking about the MLB. Because I feel like
perfect.
That I was gonna be my rant later on was about the Seattle the expansion.
Oh, we'll save it then. We'll save it. All of them can stay on if they want to hear it.
Yeah. Let's hop into the Braves, the Mets, this whole conversation because it actually is crazy how injured Atlanta is, and I think they have a real chance for Acuna to be MVP this year. Their pitching rotation is truly decimated. I mean, Strider just got put back on the IL. You lost Schwellenbach. You lost Waldrip. I mean, you got Chris Sale going out there. If they could pitch him 5 games a week, I'm sure they would. It's that bad. They have that Dieter or whatever that kid's name is. He looks really good. They're just not committed to starting him. They're we're going to run him out of the bullpen. But the Braves are like Johnny said, the Braves are always somehow competitive. It doesn't matter how injured they are, how uninjured they are, they always compete. And that the NL East, I mean, don't sleep on like a Washington and a Philadelphia. That's a hard division. I think Miami can even be decent this year too. I think Miami has two young Tommy White and Robbie Snelling, these two young pitchers coming out of AAA. They're not going to start them this year, but those are some stud pitchers. They have a decent rotation out there too. Like the NL East might just be the second hardest division behind the AL East in the MLB this year.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you on all of that. I'm trying to read, especially with how the Braves are looking, how elite Bryce Harper is according to Dombrowski, and then Johnny Boy. The Braves are always injured and still come back. The NL is the hardest. The NL is the hardest. I will say that. Johnny Boy hates the Braves. I don't mind the Dodgers on what they did. The Yankees did it forever back in the day.
Yeah, and that's why they're the evil empire, right? And that's why it'd be kind of ironic if like the Yankees somehow beat, why can't I think, the Dodgers this year and like save the MLB from like going into a lockout, essentially.
I would hate that. Like it's like a lose-lose in my book.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard because a lot of like Jets fans are either Yankees or Mets fans. So I know the Jets like don't have anything really hopeful. So in my head, I'm like, baseball is probably kind of the only thing you're hanging on to. So I don't know. I want to see next month when I go to New York if I can actually make a Mets game because I've never been to Citi Field. We'll see if they're in town. I'm hoping to catch the Mets Diamondbacks hopefully when they come out here in May. So that should be fun.
That would be cool.
I know. Speaking of baseball a little bit, I was in Las Vegas this weekend, and they're making some headway on that Las Vegas team's like structure. And I just think it's going to be really awesome. I saw where it's going to be placed and what the outlook is, what it's going to look like with all the shops in the stadium. I think it's going to look fucking awesome. And
well, the good thing about Las Vegas is they got a ton of money and they're going to they want to be glam and glitz and they want to be top of the line. So no matter how good or how shitty their team is out there, they're going to have a high-end, high-quality product, that's always cool, right? Like that's always something to look forward to. And, you know, if you live in Las Vegas, it's nice to have something to support, at least from a quality point of view.
Right. And I feel like Vegas is one of those places where people travel. And if like the team happens to be playing that day, like, hey, I'll go. You know what I mean? It's right there off the strip too. It's convenient.
Yeah. That's like when I went to Miami for the championship game. I'm like, oh, the Heat are playing and they happen to be playing OKC, but I was going to go to a Heat game either way because it's right. You know,
I would have gone to one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's, you know, the stadium's cool.
Yeah. Johnny Boy says, I would love Citi Field if I can make it. So many choices of food and no bad seats at all. Yeah. That is what I've heard. Nice. I've heard all good things. Nice. Yeah. All right. What's the score I have the score blocked. Is it still 7-0?
7-0, yeah.
Oh my God. What a disaster.
Yeah, it's a beatdown.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to transition really quickly to March Madness? Anyone going to the draft? Not going to the actual draft. I'm going to a draft party in New York, hopefully, but not the draft. No.
The only way I'll go to the draft is if you pay for my tickets and pay for someone to streak across the stage. I'll take a cut of it.
I don't know. Sometimes, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me and like the way I grew up and stuff like that. But I don't know how people afford to, quite frankly, I get having season tickets to a game and you live in the area. But I see like Jets fans traveling to every single game. And I'm like, how do you quite frankly afford that? Like, I would go to every single Suns game if I wanted to. It's just not in my checkbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just different income brackets. I mean, fucking my fiance was, you know, she wants to paint the wall and like add this structure and it's like $2,500. And like, I had to like sit down and have a convo with her. I'm like, $2,500, like we can afford it. But like, we're not going to be able to go on. We wanted to go to Switzerland later this year. I'm like, we're not going to be able to do that. And that's just something simple, and then you add on like the luxuries of life and you're like, oh yeah, by the way,
gas is $5 over here.
I have an electric car,
crazy.
so thank God I swapped last year. I pay $50 a month in electricity to charge my car for the whole month. Like,
yeah.
I'm
Damn,
okay.
Sean, you driving a Tessie over there?
Yeah. To be fair, I got in a really bad car accident last year, and I wasn't in the best financial position, so I kind of had to get something that was the cheapest. And
right.
Tesla was the cheapest, the least money down I had to put. Like, it's crazy. I was looking at getting a used car and shit, and I'm like, you want like $5,000 down? I'm like, for what? To drive this putt around? I ain't paying no $5,000 up front for a putt.
Yeah, you might as well, at this point with the way the rates are and everything, you might as well just get a brand new car.
I leased it. I was like, fine, I'll lease it, and if I want it later on, I'll just, I'll look at it. It's, I bought that. I've driven Audi like my whole life, and
it takes a special type of person to drive an Audi, because Audi lovers are something else, and it's because I used to date one, and it was not very particular people.
Yeah, you know what it is.
And like I didn't realize yesterday, or I think like last week, I was at I had to get a new battery or whatever, and they were like, oh, what year's your car? And they're like, I was like, oh, 2017. They're like, oh, your car's gonna be 10 years old. And it hit me, and I'm like, holy shit, my car is gonna be 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then I instantly triggered, maybe I should get a new car, because I got to put new tires on it. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should just get a new car then. Fuck the tires.
I thought about when I graduated. Someone was talking about when I graduated. I'm like, I almost graduated 15 years ago. It made me feel like it was like an epiphany. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, literally. Macho, used cars cost the same as new. Yeah, pretty 100%. Much. And Johnny Boy. Okay. Yeah, because Johnny Boy knows. And he's already talking Duke drama. I don't even want to hear it. Drin, do you want to pull up the bracket? My bracket's been fucked.
I'll start there. I'm going to preface this and say this is not my bracket. If we had my bracket, we'd actually have some semblance of wins here.
Okay.
I don't want to talk. This is not my bracket.
Okay. Let's start with the East. And Drin, if you can zoom in just specifically on the East, that'd be super helpful. All right.
I think this is the only one that we got
looks
right.
Decent.
I think this is the only one that we got right. Because I think we had well, I don't think we have it all the way yet, because it's Duke and St. John's. Yeah.
No, it's complete. Okay, let's talk about the first round, the round of 64. Duke had me scared for a moment. I knew they were going to finish out strong, but Siena was playing tough, and I believe Siena's coach was just what I thought he was hired somewhere else.
Yeah, he got hired.
Is it Cincy?
Look it up. I don't remember where he got. I know it was Syracuse, right?
There we go. Yes, yeah, that makes sense. He's returning. Yeah. I think he played there.
Yeah,
so it's like a homecoming.
Steve McNair or whatever. Yeah, he played there. Was there? Yeah. But Duke, to be fair, we had talked about it last week, and I didn't realize how many injuries they actually had. They were very injured. Granted, it's Siena versus Duke. Like, I'll tell you what screwed Siena was all of their starters played 40 minutes. They looked gassed in the second half. I mean, they should have utilized their bench. I understand that your starters are what had that lead, but man, what really hurt them in the end was how gassed their starters were. They were just chucking stuff up and nothing was falling at the end of the game.
Yeah. That game had me scared for a second. Let me think about the other. Oh yeah, you're a big fan of Cal Baptist coming out of this region.
Cal Baptist should have won that game. That's all I'm saying.
And then let me see any other.
By 20 in the first half. I think the East we kind of had. I think we picked Ohio State to beat TCU. I think that was our. Oh no, we picked TCU. Sorry.
Yeah, I called that shit. TCU. I called that shit immediately, and I was so happy because people's brackets were screwed that game, and I was like, oh, I at least have one correct. Yeah. Let's see. South Florida was the one that I thought was going to be an upset, and it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, you picked that one wrong for sure.
Me and Guy both did. Don't just say me. Me and Guy both did.
No, we had to have agreed on Louisville because Louisville got through.
Yeah, and then you were high on Furman coming out of this region as well.
Listen. I watched the whole game. They could have won that game. They were actually in that game. Let's be realistic. They only lost by 11. Or no, 11, I think it was. Yeah, I think they only lost by 10 or 11 points. I thought for sure. I was like, Furman's going to win this game. I think they were within like 2 in the second half. I'm like, hell yeah.
Well, speaking of that, sticking with UConn for a second, I mean, what they were calling the UConn UCLA game, like the asshole game or something, because both the head coaches are just very hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's see. St. John's and Kansas. I mean, let's talk about that game.
Banger game.
I know it was. So mind you, I had St. John's in my bracket, but I was rooting for Kansas simply because, again, Big 12 team. And I don't know if Kansas could have played it any better at the end they had some fouls to give. I don't know how much time they realistically, maybe a couple more seconds could have ran off the clock. But you got to give it to, I forget blanking on his name, the player who scored. You got to give it to him going out there and just making a fucking play. That game was just
the white boy. The white boy. What's his name?
Darling. There we go.
Yeah.
And he said that the coach was just like yelling at him on the sideline. Patino was just like, do whatever you make a play, essentially. He's like, he's just yelling at me like he always does. And I had to just go up there and chuck something up. But Kansas came back from like a big deficit. So
Kansas was down like 16 or 17 at one point. I was doing my fantasy baseball draft sitting at a bar. And I was almost distracted from my draft watching the final 4 minutes of that game. It was insane.
Yeah. And of course, Darren Peterson has been the story coming out of kind of that game simply because obviously they think, well, he's probably going to be one and done. And then debating again if he's going to be a top draft pick. He played very well in the tournament. I just don't think it was a complete team. And then additionally with Kansas too, there was rumors that it came out that Bill Self was retiring. Mm-hmm. And then he came out. Then he came out and said it was just like rumors. I've been seeing conflicting articles and I'm like, what is going on? Is he fucking retiring or not?
Correct me if I'm, maybe I thought he retired today. I'm sorry. He denied it today.
Yeah. So, but again, I'm going to laugh if he ends up retiring and it just is like a delay in it, in the decision. Cause it's not when
someone retired today though.
The Creighton coach retired.
I swear to God, I thought someone retired today. I know they fired the North Carolina head coach too. Yeah. It was just an article I saw about Bill Self not actually retiring, and that's what I read, and I just kind of hyper-focused on that.
No, but again, it was just very conflicting articles. It literally came out that breaking news that he retired, and then it was I didn't say that. I'm reevaluating where I'm at, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Very strange. So let's talk about these matchups right here. We got Duke St. John's. That's going to be a hell of a game.
I'm not going to lie. I had Duke winning the whole tournament. If St. John's wins this game, I think they can win the whole tournament. St. John's is crazy fun to watch. The amount of defense that they play and what they can do. Duke better hope they're healthy. I don't know if they're getting their players back or not in this game, but St. John's looks scary good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, defensively they look really good. And they're just playing with and they're feeling themselves. They're playing with a certain level of intensity. They've been hot coming into the tournament. They just kept it rolling.
They play with swagger. They're, you know who they remind me of is, do you remember that Butler team 10 years ago?
Yeah.
That's who they remind me of. I don't know what it is about them. They just literally remind me of that Butler team. They can't do it. And Brad Stevens was the coach of that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think
that's
so.
the
Yeah.
team that they remind me of a lot. Is that but it might have been longer at this point, but it's that Butler team.
I don't know. And watching Darling being interviewed after the game and just how did it feel to make that shot? And he just talked with such a little, like, I don't know, just like a certain charisma. I'm like, this kid is just fun to watch and fun to just listen to, you know?
Yeah.
But no, St. John's is, Duke, I don't really think they've looked good. Again, that first game's a little different. They came out a little stronger against TCU. They let TCU hang around that first half a lot,
Yeah,
though.
but they beat the brakes off them in the
Yeah,
second
yeah,
half.
and it ended up pulling away.
Yeah, they
But
looked really good in this. And I'm going to be honest, it was Cameron looked like horrible in the first half, and he really like turned it on in the second half. Yeah, Duke's going to be hard to beat,
right.
honestly. And I think that the TCU game kind of like if they look the same that they did against Siena against TCU, you'd be like, oh shit, they might be in trouble. But I think they got all their center back, and I think that was the biggest thing was like that center was hurt, and he's a big part of their offense or their not their offense, sorry, their defense and like the way that they can scheme and play. But Duke was seconds away from disaster.
Right. Now, how are we feeling about this Michigan State UConn matchup? I personally have Michigan State. This is going to be a fun one, though. Both head coaches obviously have championship experience, clearly.
Yeah, I still have UConn just because it's really, really hard. It's hard to count UConn out with what they do in the tournament every single year, and they're just so good on offense and defense, and they're coached extremely well. You know, same thing with Michigan State. I just think how UConn looked in the second round compared to how Michigan State looked one against USF and then also against Louisville, I wasn't really convinced that that's a team that can get to the Elite Eight, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. I mean, I would love to see another St. John's UConn matchup. That would would make for great television. I would be tuned in.
Because I mean, both of those games that they played, both teams won by like 30 points, I think it was. So like both teams beat the shit out of each other. So it's like the best of three game. I also would it would be cool to see Duke and Michigan State play as well. Right. So there's the other side of it that I would like to see as well. I do think it'll be Duke versus UConn, but any variation of these teams playing in the Elite Eight is going to be fun to watch, no matter how it's cut.
I agree. Shaq said, I'm not going to lie, Duke versus St. John's could really be Elite Eight depending on how UConn and Michigan State goes. Also so this was, this is out of my brackets, this was the bracket that was almost most perfect, at least. Wasn't too many upsets, but we're going to move on down from the East, and I believe we're going to move to the South right below it.
Which is hell in a hay basket down
here.
Oh,
my God. So Florida, of course, is the only number one seed knocked out of the tournament thus far.
After winning by 59 or 60 in the first round, by the way. I mean,
if you had Florida coming out of this bracket, I feel bad for you. I never saw it, to be honest. I didn't think that they were going to repeat or anything like that. That's just no shade to Florida. No, I have Houston coming out of this bracket personally.
I thought Florida, I didn't have them repeating, but I thought they'd be in the Final Four. I mean, I was blown. And I'm going to be honest. Did you watch that whole Florida game?
No, because there was another game on that I was watching instead. I
swear to God, I watched the whole thing. It was almost like the refs were trying to have Florida win. There was some of the craziest, most bogus calls. They tried to give Florida the ball after the guy literally hit it out, and it was very obvious who hit it out, and they were trying to give Florida the ball. Iowa had to challenge the call just to get the ball back. I mean, they called these – Florida had got to the line to shoot free throws, missed the first one. They went up for the rebound, and they called a foul on the Iowa player again. And then they got two more free throws and made both to, take the lead. And I'm like, oh, this is how the end of the game's going to go. And then
this is BS.
And then I called it in the group chat, that 3. I said, Iowa State's about to say night-night to Florida. And the second I saw him open in the corner and shoot that 3, and that was a no-doubter. It's just a crazy game. And honestly, Iowa should have won this game by at least 8 in my eyes based on the eye test of me watching it. And Iowa, I mean, their basketball team plays like their football team, just defense, pound it down. I mean, pound it down your throat. Fun. They're a fun team to watch.
Yeah. I didn't watch that game simply because that was going on at the same time. Not all of it, but that was the same time as the Arizona game. And then I'm sorry, after the Arizona game, I was too wired to look at anything else because we'll get to them, but they stress me out. But let's move on down to that Vanderbilt Nebraska game.
Both of this side of the bracket had some crazy ass games.
Vanderbilt just at the end, the shot that they took was horrible. Didn't go in, and you already knew that. I just felt it. Nebraska was going to go on down, score at the other end.
Not to cut you off, but to go back to the Florida game, Xavier Lee not even trying to get a shot off.
Right.
That's why they lost. I mean, there was 4 seconds left on the clock. He tried to pass it after time expired. I'm like, bro, you have to get a shot.
Yeah, anything. I mean, you see
shot a midi.
Going, all the time.
And you know what I don't understand? I think I said this in our group chat. Why the fuck isn't the 7'9" guy on the court for that final play? I don't care how talentless or talented he is. He's 7'9".
That's
He's bigger
crazy.
than everybody on the court. Rousseau or whatever his name is, whatever his name is. In my eyes, there is absolutely zero reason that he should not be at least sitting in the paint on the other side of the court.
Mm-hmm.
I
agree.
Best chance to me.
Chuck it up to him, and then he could just.
If he misses it, he misses it. But I mean, at least you're giving yourself some sort of advantage. He's 7'9". Nobody is taking the ball from him on a jump ball. I don't care how you cut it. It's not happening.
Yeah. But
the Vandy game was
the Vandy game. That shot out was just inches from going in. I thought it did because it bobbled back and forth and then went out. The player who shot it
too. Did you hear the ding? I was like, oh my god! It's like it took your quarter but didn't give you the fucking product. It was so disappointing.
It was just a little too much, a little too high. I think on the backboard a little bit, but and he thought he made it
there. I thought he made it too.
I thought he made it too, and oh god, my heart had to go out for him because that would have been just again. That was just such a great game. Couldn't have asked for a better matchup there. Again, this Iowa-Nebraska matchup is going to be very interesting. I mean, you got a 9 seed and a 4 seed. I wouldn't have ever called that, to be honest.
I'm not going to lie, with the way that Iowa's looked too, I give them the edge. You can't count them out.
Right.
They've looked, I mean, I picked them to beat Clemson in round 1. You guys picked Clemson. I'm just saying. I'm going to throw that out there. Y'all don't know ball or whatever. I'm going to.
Okay. Says Furman. Furman's going all the way, or you had someone else ridiculous on the other side of the bracket.
I had High Point, who should have also, we'll get to that, could have beat Arkansas, so don't start with me, girlfriend.
And then I'm going to have to hear all your glaze over Darius Acuff Jr., which I've already posted a video about that, so I better not see no comments in here about that. They just started I want to watch what the opening tribute to the Big Ten was.
But let me ask you a question. Like in all seriousness, I don't personally think that this Houston-Illinois game is like Houston's gonna dog walk them. Like I think Illinois is actually a good basketball team. What is your opinion going into that game?
I think what's the spread on that game? Some of these spreads have been like too much for me. I don't like.
Let me ask, we did this last week. We played this game. What do you think the spread on this game is?
They probably got Houston by like 8.5.
It's 2.5.
2.5.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Interesting.
I mean, you got to think. Here's my thing. That this is why I think Illinois has a chance. Wagler is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a top 5, top 6 player in this draft in my eyes. And then you got Fleming's on the other side. Like you got two two guards who are going to go probably top 7 in this draft. I mean, and Wagler was not even in the conversation of like top 50 players in college basketball preseason. He has looked great. He's just a defensive liability, and I think that's going to be his problem. He's more like a Trae Young to me. Is kind of how I compare him. But obviously Trae Young, much better passer, right? But I think this Illinois-Houston game is going to be a dogfight. I really do.
I did too. I think I already had this coming out of the bracket anyway, so I already foresaw this. The reason I paid attention a lot more to Illinois in previous years is because they have Boswell. So Boswell used to play at Arizona, so that's why I was kind of following Kylan Boswell, and I can't tell you how much he's improved his game since going over there. It's night and day than it was over here. He was also getting in trouble over here. But yeah, I think I didn't realize the final score of that Illinois game till right now. I knew they blew him out, but I'm like, 76-55.
Oh yeah, they beat the shit out of a VCU team that just beat a very talented North Carolina. Granted, Wilson wasn't playing in that game for North Carolina. Like, there's obviously nuances to how that game went, but VCU is always a tough team come March.
Always.
They beat them by 19 or 20.
Coming out of there, yeah. The fact that they just came back from a huge deficit, and obviously the storyline coming out of UNC is obviously Hubert Davis was fired, and I've seen the rumors. Tommy Lloyd, head coach of Arizona, has been linked over there, and I don't know what to think.
If you want to go play for a blue blood, but like what you've built at Arizona and the pipeline that you've built, I just don't understand. I think that's my problem is I don't understand a lot of these coaching moves when you've already developed and built a program. Lloyd's not from like North Carolina, is he?
No. So
like, if it's not your hometown, your alma mater, whatever it is, why change what you have going when you have success? I don't understand it. I guess it's like a contract thing. Like maybe North Carolina can offer him much more money than Arizona can. But
maybe, but we already gave him a huge extension.
And that's what I was going to say is he got a ton of money, right?
He's from Washington.
Yeah, so I don't understand.
And it makes sense why he spent 23 years, I think, or 20 plus years at Gonzaga. That makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's like there's no ties over there unless, again, you want to play for one of them blue bloods.
It's just it's to me, I understand like the blue blood mentality, but with the NIL now, the blue blood appeal isn't as much as it used to be. It's just not. You can kind of get players and get talent that you normally wouldn't have been able to get at some of these schools. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of shut down the rumors. He says he loves Tucson. I mean, the weather here is one of the big draws to a lot of coaches here. That's why they love it. He loves Tucson. And again, you built this program, and you already have recruits, like 5-star recruits coming in next year as well that want to come in and play for you. So,
and yeah, you could flip those recruits to go with you wherever, but it's like you've already done the process and the due diligence, and you've already built a program, and you've already built like expectations and stuff. What's the point of giving that up and to go to North Carolina?
Yeah. It's not that. I just feel, again, it's the name, but otherwise it's not that much more of an enticing.
But we're in the NIL era now. The name doesn't matter anymore. It truly doesn't. I really don't think it does.
All right, let's move over to the Midwest, Duran, on the other side. All right, where do we start? Michigan, I think we all saw that coming. There wasn't too much I was surprised by here until the bottom half a little bit.
Howard covered the spread like we thought.
Right, exactly. I knew they were going to play gritty. And I thought that for a minute it looked like it was them. And I think there was another team that it felt like some of the lower seeded teams were covering the spread. And so I had a parlay that was with 4 or 5 teams. And of course, one team hoed me. That's how it always goes.
That's how it always goes.
Always goes. My God.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, Texas Tech bounced here.
Alabama putting up 90 points in back-to-back games after they lost. We had that big convo about we all agreed that Alabama could easily perform, but we were worried about them losing their second leading scorer, and to put up 90 bombs back to, and a Texas Tech team that plays good defense. and is a good team. I think they have 10 losses, but they have 10 losses and playing in one of the hardest divisions in college. They beat them by 25. I mean, Alabama looked good.
I'm actually excited for this Michigan-Alabama.
I think, and I'm going to be serious, I think Alabama could easily win this game. I really do believe that. What's your guess? Let me look it up. Oh, what do you think the spread is on this one?
I'm like 6.5.
10. That feels crazy.
In Michigan's favor?
Yeah. That's a little odd to me.
That's really strange.
You're telling me Illinois and Houston is a 3-point spread, but Alabama, who's put up 90 points in 2 games in a row and beat the brakes off of 2 teams, is a 10-point underdog to Michigan? A little weird to me.
Right. All right, let's move to this bottom half. Virginia. I mentioned I like going for Virginia simply because I used to live in Charlottesville for 3 years. That was a hell of a game, though.
It was. And Tennessee could have easily won that game by 20 points, but Virginia dog fought back. And I think it was a tie game with 3 minutes left.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, Virginia just blew it. I would have loved to see Miami, Ohio come out of this side of the bracket. That would have been so cool.
Me too. And I look like I had posted when they got into the tournament that I had them winning that game, and now it looks bad. People came back to that video, and I'm like, I didn't say I was right. I just said I'm rooting for them. I think they can beat Tennessee, which they could.
I want to put this in perspective too. Is they lost by 22 points, I think it was, or 20 points, whatever it was. They shot 20% from 3, while Tennessee shot 50% from 3. And Miami, Ohio's biggest thing this year was, they were shooting 44% from 3 as a team. Yep. If they had shot their average, I think they would have lost by 2 points instead of 22 or whatever it was. But if they just had a couple, and that's tempo, right? If they had a couple more shots fall, the tempo of this game looks a lot different. And that's just when you rely on the 3 ball, that's just kind of how it goes, unfortunately.
Yeah. You're going to have those really bad days where you're fucking cold from the 3-point line.
Yeah. And this Tennessee team too, I don't think they have any top 20 NBA players either. They're just a gritty team.
Right. And then you caught that Santa Clara, Kentucky game. Holy.
Yeah. That was a crazy game too.
We were all just screaming up and down at the sports book because we couldn't believe that final shot to then go into overtime. And
I'm not going to lie either. I don't know what the hell Santa Clara was doing in that game. They should have won the game.
Right. They should have.
The game there was 2 seconds left. There is no way you're giving someone a shot with 2 seconds left. They didn't even try to play defense. They didn't.
Well, we got who did you pick coming out of this? Did you pick Michigan?
I think we agreed on Michigan, but I thought we all said Iowa State could easily win this side. But I'm going to be honest. I am not going to be shocked if it's Alabama versus Iowa State in the Elite 8.
Yeah, I would not be shocked either. Here, I'm going to look at the spread on that game.
Which one? The Iowa State game?
Yeah.
This one's a 4-point spread, but the other side of is 10 points. I don't get it.
That's what I'm saying. Who's that? And what's funny is a lot of times I feel like some of them are right. So I'm like, what is Vegas seeing that we're not? But I'm like, this just seems these games, it seems mismatched in terms of the
unless
spread.
Iowa State has an injury we're not aware of. I mean, Iowa State's been a top 5 team, right?
His name got hurt. That's why they lost. Their player got hurt. I think his last name starts with a T. I'm blanking on it. He was actually hurt over half the game, I believe, his ankle.
Joshua Jefferson?
Yes, there we go. Sorry.
He's a game time decision, though. Okay.
I don't know.
Yes, I said, unless there's these injuries that I'm not – because I'm not – I watch a lot of college basketball, but there's too many player names to remember, honestly. So, I'm not in tune with, this is this person's star. That's a team out of your conference.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know it. Yeah, that's literally the only reason I know is.
So I wonder if he gets like confirmed to play if they jump up like 3 points or 4 points.
Right.
They might, you know.
He is literally their main star on that team, though.
We
Not
should
saying
go
that
back to
they don't
the other
contribute.
side though and pick our teams that we think too. You want to do that real fast before we get up to the Arizona side of the bracket?
Yeah, let's go back. Let's start with the East, Dren.
I was just thinking, I'm like, we're talking about all these teams, we're not really picking who we think.
Oh God. What do you want to do?
What I want to do is say St. John's, but I really think that Duke is healthy now, and I think it's going to be Duke.
I'm still saying Duke, to be honest.
Just simply for how good they looked against TCU when they got some of their players back. I mean, that's St. John's could very. I mean, I think we can both agree St. John's could very easily sneak someone out this game, but Duke is just, to me, the most talented team in the nation, top to bottom.
They somehow always find a way to like put it together. They were not phased. Like when I was watching them against Siena, I get it that Siena was keeping them on their toes, but they also didn't seem phased by it.
They looked like a group of veterans out there.
Yeah, it looked like they knew they were going to still come out and win. And at the end of the day, that's what this tournament is. You win in advance. It doesn't matter how much you win by.
You're going to get punched in the mouth at some point in the game. It's can you close?
You're going to get punched in the mouth. Like even it doesn't matter any of these 1 seeds. You're going to get punched in the mouth at any given point in time in the tournament. You know, I even think Utah State will get over to Arizona, but Utah State kept Arizona on their toes the whole time. I know they covered the spread, but still they were still in it. So we're saying Duke. I think we disagree here.
I'll play devil's advocate with you and pick Michigan State.
All right, Dren. I still have Duke coming out of this bracket.
I do too. So I think we can just agree that it's going to be Duke to win this game, the following game.
Yep.
So Dren, we'll agree on Duke out of this Duke Michigan State. Although that could be a good game as well. But if Duke beats St. John's by anything over 10 points, I think they're going to beat Michigan State by 15 plus.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, let's move on down. Oh man, this is.
I have Iowa here, but if you want to pick Nebraska, we can go with Nebraska. I just seeing what I've seen from Iowa versus seeing what I've seen from Nebraska, just a bit more convincing to me.
I know. Damn.
This is
where I wish like that.
This half of the bracket, though, these two games are going to be.
They're very hard.
These are going to be probably the best two games out of the whole day, I feel like.
Because Nebraska, I don't know about Iowa, but I know Nebraska has never, this is their first time making it to this point in the tournament.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Nebraska was one of those teams that were like one of the only undefeated teams left in the nation at one point, right?
Yeah. They were. I'll take Nebraska still.
All right, we'll put Nebraska there. We'll just.
Well, and do we disagree with this other matchup too?
Do you have Houston winning this one?
Of course I do.
I have Houston winning this one, but I wouldn't be shocked if Illinois won.
I agree.
This wouldn't be like a mega upset if Illinois won this game. It would be surprising, but it could easily happen.
And I think Houston, like Shaq put it in the comments, I believe this isn't Houston, so it's a home court advantage for them.
Yeah. And now we can agree Houston probably beats the Brett. I think the winner of Illinois and Houston wins the South.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
So, yeah,
and then we got Houston, Dren. There we go. Houston lucked out with having it be. They didn't have to travel far at all.
I'm not gonna lie. The South to me had that was the easiest bracket. Like team-wise.
All right.
I'm just gonna put out there. I'm taking Alabama versus Michigan.
We'll just take Bama. That's fine.
I can see it. I can see it though.
All I care is my bracket with that I actually have money on, which I'm still in it. Like, and I'm taking Iowa State here.
Yeah, Iowa State, definitely.
If it comes down to Iowa State and Alabama, that'll be fun.
Hell yeah. I think Iowa State wins this game. But it's really going to depend on how if Bama beats Michigan, how they beat Michigan, because they beat the brakes off of both the teams they played prior. But I think I'll go Iowa State just to
Yeah, I'm going to Iowa State. I mean, in my actual bracket, the bracket I had Michigan, but if you literally look at the picture I have of my paper one, that's like my actual one. You can see I've scratched out Michigan and Iowa State plenty of times before I just was like, I'll stick with Michigan because that is how close it is in my opinion.
That's fair.
All right, we'll go through the bracket and the games first before we kind of give winners here.
And this has been the most fun bracket to me. Just teams. And we'll talk about it like Texas. What a shock.
Yeah, holy They were on loose. They lost 5 out of 6 games coming into the goddamn tournament.
Averaging
like that's the end of the regular
12
season.
or 13 turnovers a game. Like they look sloppy. Yeah, 3 Big 12 teams. And that wasn't intentional. But yeah, I mean,
I would love that shit.
The thing is, the South, Illinois could easily come out of that bracket as well.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, let's let you talk about Arizona.
I mean, blew the brakes off Long Island, in my opinion. Now, Utah State was a little different. Utah State, like I said it before, I thought they were going to come in playing with a chip on their shoulder because I think they should have been a higher seed. I think they had an argument for that. And so I don't necessarily think like that 9 seed is very indicative of how good they actually were. Utah State, I feel like kept them on their toes a little bit more than I would have liked. They wouldn't go away, and it's because they had a 3-point shot the entire game. And at the end of the day, Arizona just looked too big for them. Arizona, I can tell you right now, we're going to have this Arkansas matchup coming up, and I'll save my rant because I'm going to go off again about it because I'm sick of hearing about Darius Acuff Jr. But Arizona, if they need to do several things really. They're going to need to continue to rebound, which they won the rebounding game. They're out rebounding. Their rebounding like differential is the best in the tournament so far. So that's not an issue. They need to work on inbounding the ball. Whenever there's pressure, like on the inbound, there's an issue. Whenever teams give like a full court pressure, there seems to be an issue. I don't know what's up with the free throws. And then there was still a point in the Utah State game where Arizona didn't have a field goal for like 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Yep.
You're not going to win
by like 20 at that point or something, and they couldn't score.
You're not going to win a game like that. You're not going to win against Arkansas playing a game like that. So, in my opinion, if you ask me about Arkansas, obviously I saw them. I probably saw it coming to this point. It was either going to be them or Wisconsin, in my opinion. Arkansas is playing gritty. Again, I'll go off about Acuff later. Very good player, one of the best players in the tournament.
He might have played himself into a top 3 draft pick. If they beat Arizona and Acuff puts up 30 points, I guarantee you there will be a large conversation on him going top 3.
Right.
I love him. I've talked about him.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where I know we are like.
I'm going to tell you what, though. For Arizona to beat Arkansas, you guys are going to have to score 90 points. That offense is ridiculous. And High Point, I wasn't trolling when I picked High Point to beat Wisconsin, and I wasn't trolling when I said I think they can beat Arkansas, and they almost damn well did. High Point is fun to watch. I don't know if you got to watch any of that game.
I did.
I love watching High Point play, and I like watching Arkansas play, and Darius Acuff he is uber talented. And I think if you can neutralize him, obviously you have a great shot at winning. But
right.
It seems like he's a walking 30 piece right now. And he's undeniable almost. I think you're going to have to score every minute of the game is what it is when you play a team like Arkansas is the thing.
That's why I said you can't go like that 7-minute gap where you're not scoring shit because the game's going to get out of control really quickly and you're going to get off your normal. I say it in every video. Arizona has to play at their own pace. And sometimes I feel like they get really frazzled easily. The thing is, especially in terms of Arkansas, and in my opinion, their defense is not that good.
And they don't rebound very well. Like I think you guys have like a 10 like average per game. I think it's like 8 or 10 rebound differential you have over them. They have that like 6'10" forward, and I don't remember his name, and I just watched him. Light-skinned kid, I don't remember his name. He rebounds, but I don't think anyone else on the team rebounds particularly well, which should bode well for y'all. It's just, it's going to be what kind of Arkansas are you getting? Because if I'm not mistaken, let me just look. Yeah, they shot 51% from the field and 56% from three against High Point.
Sheesh.
I mean, High Point lost that game shooting 26% from three, 10 for 38. If they had made 3 more threes, they win the game,
Yeah.
This is going to be a game about pace, and this is going to be a game about neutralizing a cuff. And you're going to need I think you're going to need a big game from Bradley and Berries.
Right. I mean, I'll just go off on my rant now because I looked at the time too. The thing is, some of the takes that I've been seeing about Arkansas, it looks like it's from one, people that aren't fans of either team, quite frankly, and two, also people who have not watched a single Arizona basketball game besides probably the last 2 games that they just saw. Okay, so that's not indicative of what we've played all season long in the Big 12. We've faced teams like Arkansas that play very quickly. Kansas was one of them. And we've also played players that carry their team in a similar fashion the way ACUF does. And I'm talking about, unfortunately, JT Toppin got hurt. He scored 31 points on us when we played Texas Tech. I was at that game. He was unstoppable.
Also, too, I don't think people know, like, Kansas beat y'all without Peterson. So they weren't even, like, their one ball centric, one guy carry the game kind of team that they won either. So to your point, like, it's people that haven't watched Arizona that are making these comments.
And I get it. We're not one of those teams that I think has a super large fan base, but that's been what's most irritating is I'm seeing that I finally saw a take that was like Arizona will dog walk Arkansas. But I just feel like I hate to use that word like glaze, but like there's so many Darius Acuff Jr. glazers, and it's driving me nuts as if Arizona doesn't just have an overall good fucking roster. You never know on any given day who's going to show up for Arizona. It could be Pete. It could be Burries. It could be Jaden Bradley. I've seen Karchenkov be the leader. I've seen Del Orso off the bench. I've seen Owaka. It's just an overall well-rounded roster. Arkansas doesn't scare me themselves because we played, again, I've mentioned we played teams already similar to them that have similar styles. And again, I've said it before coming into this tournament, this team is like battle tested. What scares me the most is that the fact of this curse that Arizona has of not being able to get past the Sweet 16. That is the only thing I'm worried about is them getting over the hump. It doesn't matter which team you fucking put here, to be honest. It's just a matter of you need to get over this fucking hump. It's like seems like a mental roadblock at this point. It's not a actual talent. But again, this is not an Arizona team that I've been watching them more consistently the last 10 years since 14, because if you want to count the time that I was there, and this team hasn't looked this good since I was at U of A in 2014. Like, even last year, I said that Arizona wasn't going to go all the way. I put Houston going all the way. They did. They lost to Florida, of course. But, like, I've just watched enough of them. I wouldn't be putting Arizona all the way, like, if I didn't actually think that they could do it. Because I want to be realistic. And, I think Arizona has – I think you said it last week. This was an easier region to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree. It's just a matter, I feel like, of getting over this like mental hump of the Sweet 16. Yeah. And I think after that, I'll say it right here. We're going to talk about this Texas Purdue matchup because holy shit. But if this was an Arizona Texas matchup, Sean Miller was the head coach, who's the head coach at Texas, was the head coach of Arizona for a very long time. And I would love to see that matchup. Honestly, going here to this Texas Purdue matchup, I'm going 100% for Texas. You're the Cinderella team this year, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Texas has looked good, too. I mean, they beat a good BYU team and a great Gonzaga team. Purdue, they beat Queens and Miami. Purdue's biggest thing right now is they beat Michigan to end the season. Texas plays the way that Texas is not playing like an 11 seed, and Texas has looked good, like very good. I got Texas coming. I got Texas winning this game. I don't know about you, but I do have
you
Texas.
put Texas there. Like I said, I am very much rooting for Sean Miller. I have no ill will. He had the whole scandal happen at Arizona with the paying of the players, and I had a T-shirt that had that scene from Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving. It had his face on it. I'm like, this is perfect. I got Arizona obviously coming out of this game.
I think we can agree Arizona is going to win, but I think we both can understand that one, there's a ton of storylines. Arizona's going to have to overcome this hump. A Cuff, again, he has seemed undeniable like the last 7 games that Arkansas has played. I just think there's a huge size disparity and a huge talent disparity outside of that between the two teams. It's just Arizona cannot go, like you said, 7 minutes dry in a game against Arkansas. Arkansas is going to put points on the board. They are. They've scored 90 plus both of their games, almost 100 points. And they're going to shoot the lights out of the building. Granted, Arizona's defense is going to be a bit more stifling, right? They're going to have to get some better open looks and pass the ball a little bit more. But this Arkansas team is not going to be like a cakewalk. I think actually this will be whoever wins this game, obviously. We're hoping Arizona wins, but is going to come out of the West. Right.
And I'm not saying Arkansas is not an easy team by any means. I'm not saying I actually think the spread was 7.5. I'm not sure I actually like that very much.
That's still 7.5.
I think it actually might be a lot closer than that.
The over-under is 165, which I think this game could easily be 180-point game. 200-point game. Has Arizona put up 100 this year?
I do not think so.
Yeah, they put 103 against Denver and 101 against Kansas State.
Was it early in the season?
Yeah, both of those games were within the first 20 games.
But they've been consistently putting up 80 points a game too.
Yeah, they've been putting up 70, 80. I don't know. This is one of those games where Arkansas could just come out flat and put up 50 points, and then this conversation was pointless. And a Cuff puts up 15 points, and but I
think you're right. You need to have a good game from Burries, and you need to have a good game from Bradley too. Bradley was kind of non-existent, but he had some clutch shots in the second half against Utah State, and that's where again that veteran presence is very important. And then I thought Koa Pete had a great game against Utah State. He's got to watch out with that foul trouble. He was on the bench with 4 fouls, which is why there was a certain portion where he was out the second half a lot. So that's one thing to kind of look at. But this game is
by the way, his last 6 games, he's put up 28, 37, 24, 30, 24, and 36. He's on a tear.
Well, and again, I compared him to players just similar, in the conference of the Big 12, I guess I should say, JT Toppin was, before he got hurt, he could have been a player of the fucking year. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But you're gonna neutralize him to an extent, but you're gonna have to force some of the other players to make a fucking shot. And I think that's where they're gonna get a little stifled by our defense a little bit. And we're just big. And again, if Arizona rebounds and gets those second chance points, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
But where did all these Arkansas fans come up from all of a sudden?
There's actually, and I'm not saying this, there unironically is a lot of Arkansas fans. It's just they usually aren't very good, right? So they're just quiet. And when you have someone as polarizing as a Cuff, what he does on the offensive side of the ball, and he's actually a relatively good defender too. I feel like people just get a little big for their britches, and I think in reality this is going to be a come to Jesus game for Arkansas, and they're probably going to get the shit beat out of them. But it is a game where you could see it being a closer game than it should be.
Right. I commented on this video, and this guy was talking about the upsets, and of course he was talking about Arkansas. And all I did was write, I don't know why so many people are counting out Arizona when they've been consistent all year and have depth. And then, of course, I get the Darius A. Cup Jr. And I list our whole starting roster. I'm like, what's your fucking point? Like, what are we throwing out? Just fucking names here?
Yeah.
And then some dude really was like, oh, yeah, because Arizona had what they try to tell me Arizona consistently played nobodies. And I was like, bro, this is how I know you don't watch fucking ball.
That's a casual fan right there, because Arizona might have had the hardest schedule in college basketball this year.
And then I didn't reply to this comment, but it's like, because Tommy Lloyd never been past the Sweet 16. Again, Tommy Lloyd hasn't had a roster as good as the Sweet 16. Yeah. Sean Miller didn't get past the Sweet 16 that much either.
A lot of teams don't get past the Sweet 16.
That's what I'm saying. It's the whole fucking organization thing. So it's just like and then that same dude, he posted that video, but then he had Arizona advancing in the next video, and I'm like, pick a team. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure he had his bases covered.
Yeah, literally, I'm like, rage baiter is what you did. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm very, very passionate about this. Because I've been hearing it all week, and I'm just like, what? Arizona ain't shit all of a sudden? That's how it's coming off in a lot of these comments. Anyways, you can put Arizona on that line, Dren.
Yeah, I think
I make an executive decision here. And then we'll obviously wait till next week to see what happens with this.
Yeah.
Man, just I'm telling you, I'm really nervous about tomorrow. I'm only nervous because, again, that hump. But otherwise, I expect Arizona to take care of business like they always do. I was as nervous as when U of A went and played Houston in the season, because Houston was number 2. And, I mean, they
beat the shit out of them in that game, right?
Yeah, in Houston on top of that. So I'm like, in this game, mind you, this game is in San Jose. This is a fucking home game for U of A. Yeah. All right. Well, I got my rant out of the way. I know you have one.
Yeah, we can talk about the Seattle, Las Vegas expansion. I kind of wanted to go into that a little bit. It seems like it's proceeding quite quickly and going to occur. I don't know how quickly, but from what I'm seeing, like within the next year, I would say it might occur. I'm excited. Again, I think this goes back to what we talked about with Vegas being such like a polarizing and like appealing spot. Like you said, you could go there and walk right up the street and go to a game. It's going to be really good for, I think, basketball, because you're going to have a lot of people with more eyes on it. I mean, obviously you're going to have more gambling because it's a Vegas team. So people are naturally just going to gamble more. And then you have the legacy of Seattle. I'm really happy. And I think I've been asked a couple of times, like, oh, who are you going to support now? And I'm like, well, probably both teams, because at the end of the day, OKC was Seattle. And I've followed the organization for such a long time that I can't like not be a fan anymore. And I love Shea and I love what that organization has done and developed. But it'll be nice to have Seattle back in basketball, right? Like they were such a legacy organization, and they've been around forever. Rashard Lewis, Ray Allen, there's we could go on and on about the players that have come from there. And it'll be nice to have 2 more teams, I think, in the NBA. I don't know if it's a little crazy, but I think like the disparity between the really good teams and the really bad teams has just become so much. And I'm hoping with the expansion, they can also implement something that fucks with tanking, because I just think that this tanking thing has gone a little too far.
Yep.
So when they add these new teams and the draft picks and whatever it is, maybe like starting next year, like whatever picks are traded, right? Like those are going to be locked out of any exemptions that may occur. But like after that, with adding these new teams, it's, hey, I don't even know. Because honestly, I don't even know how they can address it. But like, if they do, just make it to where like, you can't just say, you know what, fuck it, all of our starters had surgery and they're out for the whole year. I don't know how you feel about the tanking, but I'm just so strongly against it.
Oh, I know it's out of control. And honestly, you already touched on it a little right now. There is such a disparity between really good teams and really bad teams that's why the NBA is very boring to me because of that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, my team is arguably the best team in NBA. We lost today for the first time in a month, which is
well, the Suns have been
boo-hoo.
Losing. They're beat the
yeah,
fuck
but
up now.
to be fair, the Suns were a lot better than they should have even been this year. So at least
Right,
you had that
exactly. You
going
got to
for
take
you.
it for what it is.
But yeah, basketball is just I don't know if it's just me. It feels like there's been way too many injuries in basketball lately, and like way too many bullshit injuries. Oh, my finger hurts, so I'm going to sit out a game now. Like they're talking about taking off the 65 game like award exemption. I'm like, players shouldn't be allowed to only play 40 games, 50 games, and still get voted for MVP or whatever it is that you want to argue. I feel like players need to play.
Right.
I don't understand why it's okay for players to only play 50 games at this point. They get paid. And I'm very harsh on this. You're getting paid. A lot of these players are getting paid 20, 30, $40 million a year. If I made $40 million a year, I don't get to call out of work every other day. Like you have to be very good at your job to get paid that much. And it's just ridiculous to me. Like the load management and it's just very odd to me. That's why I can appreciate players like, as much as he's annoying, Luka and Shea and Jokic, like a lot of these Ironman players, Tatum before his injury. I mean, Tatum plays like every game. Like these superstar players that actively want to go out and play, because you see players like LeBron at the end of their career, sitting out load management. Kawhi done it his whole career.
Kawhi is the whole different story. Yeah, that actually just like infuriates me.
I'm actually hoping they void his contract and he gets suspended for a year. Like really, I am.
Well, I think you've been on that since way earlier, since like late last year. You were saying that too.
Yep. And I also hope what they do is they take away all their picks, but they make the OKC pick that they own the number 1 pick to pay us. We deserve that because we've had to deal with the Clippers drama.
Yeah.
They pissed me off because they were so fucking. I thought for sure the league was over. I thought OKC was getting a top 3 pick this year with how bad the Clippers were early on. I was like, the Clippers had to win games because that would have ruined the NBA. Like, imagine if the Clippers or if OKC got like Cameron Boozer.
Imagine.
I mean, because I just don't think we don't need a scoring. We don't need a DeBonza or a Peterson on that team. If you got someone like Boozer, like a true big, oh god, NBA would have been fucked. It would have been like we would have been like the Dodgers of the NBA.
Yeah, Boozer's a fun player to watch. I want to throw that out there. I love watching him.
I think I've been on how high. Like I don't understand why people aren't saying he's the best player. I think he has the highest floor and one of the highest ceilings. I mean, he literally, and I will say it over and over, he reminds me of Jason Tatum the way he plays.
Yeah, I can see that
about
that correlation there too.
Not to say he's going to be as good as Jason Tatum, but I mean, though he plays well beyond his years of age, and I get like why you want these score first guards like DeBonza and Peterson and a Cuff, right? Like I get it. Caleb Wilson, like these guys. Boozer is a complete package. He plays defense, he rebounds, he can pass the ball, and he can score from 3 levels. I mean, I don't get it. He is uber talented. And everyone's like, oh, he's not even a top 5 player in the country. I'm like, what the fuck are we watching?
Well, and I think that goes into my point of how I said Duke looked, even though maybe Siena kind of kept them on their toes, Boozer was playing completely unfazed. Like, it's like he knew I'm going to take charge of this effing game, and I'm going to score, I'm going to rebound, and I'm going to play good defense and obviously close out the game.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's impressive. I mean, his dad was obviously a prolific NBA player as well, right? So like that helps out. But man, I've been on the Boozer train for a while, and I've had people tell me over and over how dumb I am to think he's the best player in the nation. And I'm like,
I don't think that's like a ridiculous take.
I don't think it's even outlandish in any way, shape, or form. Even if you want to argue that he's not the best player, to argue that he's not a top 3 player in the country, he puts up like 24, 10, and 5 a night. And he plays defense. Like, what more do you want from a forward? Like, on a premier team. I don't know. I just find it odd. And Shaq says OKC and San Antonio, the new Great West rivalry. I mean, I think we all can agree on that. Both of those teams are going to be the two teams to beat for probably at least at the minimum the next 5 years, bearing injuries.
I know. I ain't arguing with you there. Yeah. Just their roster is completely stacked and just filled, no gaps.
I think San Antonio is going to be like, oh, can Wemby stay healthy, right? Like that's always going to be the argument for them. But Wemby's. I mean, I wouldn't be if Wemby can figure out his offensive game by next year. He's going to be the best player in the NBA, and it's not going to be close. I mean, what he does on defense is just ridiculous, and like what he does when he's on the floor, just this like gravity he has to him of like how the game is played around him. I don't remember ever seeing a player have this much impact when they're actually on the floor. Truly.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on what Shaq said about Kingston Flemings from Houston?
Yeah, so I was saying earlier with him and the guy from Illinois. I'm already brain farting on his name.
I know you just said it.
Why did I?
I just had their
Keaton Wagler. I think him and Keaton. I think Flemings and Keaton Wagler aren't underrated anymore. I think they're both top 7 picks in this draft coming up at this point. Like they've played their way into, a top 10 draft pick at this point. And Keaton Wagler, again, wasn't even a top 50 player on a lot of people's draft boards coming into the season. And he's going to be a top probably 7 to 8 pick. His biggest thing is he doesn't play defense, and that'll be, is he going to be a Cam Thomas of the NBA at that point? But I think Kingston Flemings is uber talented. I mean, he's fun to watch, and what he does on the court. I mean, Houston's been a good program for the last couple of years. I think we all can agree with that.
They're and they're well coached.
They're well coached.
Kelvin Sampson is great. I
mean, I think Flemings, from what I saw last, he's averaging like 15, 5 and 5 or something like that from the guard spot. In college, those are great numbers, I don't know how you feel about him. He plays.
I mean, obviously, like I think he's a great player. I think he's a top pick, a top 10 draft pick as well.
Yeah, I think he shoots like 40, like almost 40%.
I know. I just had his stats pulled up because I was looking at it earlier. Here he is. 13.5. Yeah, 50%.
Yeah, like
those are very good numbers.
Yeah, he's uber talented.
5.5 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah, he's what, 6'4"? Is he 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah.
So like he's got the size. I think he needs to put on a little weight though. I think he's a little under 200 pounds. He looks a little small when you see him too. But
I was gonna say sometimes he looks a little skinny when I see him sometimes taking the ball down the court. I'm like,
This draft though is mega guard heavy. I mean, you got the Bonza, Peterson, Boozer's the only big that's going to go in the top 10, I think. Minus that Michigan center, whatever his name is, he might go in the top 10. Wilson, Wagler, Flemings. I mean, it's all guard. Like, and these guards are crazy.
Yeah.
Koa Pete and Burries could also go in the top 10 as well.
I was just arguing. I think Burries is better. I think. Yeah, I was like, I think this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think Burries is a lot better than Koa Pete sometimes. The thing is, when Koa Pete though gets on fire, I think Koa Pete is more like overall with like the rebounding and the scoring, it all more balanced, I would say. But Burries, I think shooting wise, it's more fun to watch. I don't know.
Burries is also a 3-level scorer, right? So
I know, that's
the biggest thing. Isn't what's the age difference between the two? Are they the same age? Isn't Pete like 18 still?
I think so. Let me see.
Yeah, Braden Burries is 20. Yeah, Pete just turned 19. So he's about a year younger as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I love them both so much. They feed off of each other.
Yeah, I'm just looking right now. Yeah, Koa Pete just, Burry shoots 30% from three. Pete shoot or 40%. Pete shoots 30%. Right, like that's a pretty big difference. They average almost the same rebounds, the same assists. Burry gets almost 2 steals a game. Points wise, about the same. I just think it's what archetype do you want? Do you want a 6'8" stretch forward, or do you want a 6'4", 205-pound guard that can score from all 3 levels? I think Koa Pete's archetype is the more like NBA, what the NBA wants at this point. But I think Burry's is more of like a plug and play day one NBA starter.
Yeah.
I think Pete's ceiling is a little higher, whereas Burry's floor is a bit higher.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah. I think you kind of said it perfectly with the analogy there. Oh, man. Okay. Well, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. And then we're going to have more March Madness, obviously more MLB news as more teams play in the next week or so. I want to remind you guys one more time about the tickets for the Pistons Magic game on April 6th. They are good seats, people, okay? So you got to follow Pop Sports on Twitter. You got to tag 2 friends in the comments. You got to like and retweet that post. And then you got to subscribe to the Pop Sports Network on YouTube. And then you're entered. And then you know what? Then we're going to announce the winner on our show next week. I'm glad we get the privilege of doing that.
I am too, because I can figure out who I need to rob.
Now, literally, you're going to go type in their address.
Oh, yeah. I'll be right outside the Kia Center waiting for you. Don't worry.
Seriously. Well, again, thank you all for hanging out with us per usual every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. Again, please like and subscribe to the channel as well. And we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Peace.